All right, hello, welcome to Adventures in Lollygagging. We're back tonight. We're playing more Swords of the Serpentine. We got the full crew back. We took an extra week off, so no one remembers anything that happens. And so I can just make stuff up, and no one can call me on it because I think only Long listened to the episode recently. Is that true, Long? You said you listened to the whole thing?
Yeah, last Sunday I listened to it, so I'm up to date.
Okay, all right, fair enough. We're going to find out very quickly what happened to your character and who you're playing tonight. But yeah, we're good to go. One thing I do want to mention before we get started, because it makes sense to mention now, we've been liking Gumshoe so much, and we've been liking Swords of the Serpentine especially so much. This coming Monday, you can see the top row here. Me, Jeremy, Melissa, and others, of course, that we normally play money games with. We're going to be playing a new game for us, Time Watch. So same designer, same system. But it's time travel sci-fi. So we're gonna be starting that up on Monday. So for all you Gumshoe fans, come check that out. It'll be fun. I'm very excited because we're throwing around a couple of ideas, and I have pitched Captain Caveman, the Teen Angels. I don't know how that's gonna go. Jeremy's thinking Thunder the Barbarian, but we'll find a middle ground. Why not both? So
many good ideas.
Or I could be a teen angel. I don't know.
Could be
so many good ideas.
You've got to be Captain. If you're not the caveman, what's the point? I mean, you got it.
That's a good point.
Yeah. You got to go all in, man.
We could just figure out who the hairiest person is, and that's Captain Caveman. Might be Chuck though, if that's the case.
On the Monday crew.
Chuck.
Yeah.
It's a hairy voice there on that.
It is.
Yeah.
We get all that Midwest nonsense.
Exactly.
We're hill giants out here.
Yeah. But I'm very excited. I've been really loving the system. I like it. Plays fast. It's pretty fun. So I'm very excited to see it in a different setting. But we are in a weird, creepy Renaissance Venice city. So it's gonna dive back in. Quick summary. So we're all on the same page. Last time around, we picked up right after the death of Eliana, your matriarch. And we saw Arkadiy. He had to step away. His arm kind of began to freeze and tense a little bit. We saw his symptoms had been worsening. It's probably connected, we suspect, to a frost mage he had killed several years ago. But you found a fireplace in a different room, helped you a little bit with the discomfort. And in there, you started to hear all these strange sounds and these screams and such. And that allowed you to see outside of a balcony that the entire estate had just transformed. And you see all these different crisscrossing arcades, walkways, this sort of lit dome or kind of conservatory sort of place, these terrace gardens, and then a chapel off in the distance that is definitely the source of this chime that you've all been periodically hearing throughout the last few hours. You also heard some movement, rustling in the vegetation, and you spotted Chauncey off in the distance. He was fighting something. We know that he was fighting a zombie. Eventually, you caught up to the rest of the group by that chapel. And that's where we saw Chauncey and Solavita. You scattered a group of these scaly-looking foxes, kind of throwing treats off into the darkness, and they chased after them. Fortuna and Vincent, you pushed open the chapel door, which had some chains on it, keeping it locked. And inside, you found the body of a woman by the name of Bellamira Mainwallen, who is one of Fortuna's recent family recruits over the last several years that you've been recruiting to build up sort of a support, so a foundation of support for your eventual ascension to matriarch. Well, her body was hanging from the rafters. Did a quick inspection. Turned out she had some fang marks that suggested maybe she was poisoned by a snake bite or something like that. And also that rigor mortis had set in surprisingly fast. Solavita, you were taking sketches inside of the chapel of all this different imagery and these messages that you were seeing across murals and mosaics. Fortuna, at one point, you climbed the ladder to the bell tower. And that's when you noted there was something peculiar about the layout of the pews, which matched this spiral symbol that you remember, all of you would remember seeing it carved into one of the wall panels in Pelletier's study. When you got up to the bell tower, you looked around a bit, you found some scorch marks in a dismembered body, and you found a crossbow that you all would know. I can't remember who got this, but you all would know it belongs to the Black Swans, which is essentially the Triskadane, their secret police. That's essentially who that is. And so then you all saw Althavira pushing through this flooded, broken atrium, and you saw it was flanked by these large hulking servants of some kind. You hurried after her. You lost Vincent around this time as well. You stopped for a moment. You saw some weeping statuary, but eventually you just kind of kept pushing and pushing. And eventually you found this walking path that led to what should have been the northern waterside edge of your property, but it absolutely wasn't, as you could not see any of the ocean, any of the water whatsoever. You just saw this kind of dull, motionless blur. It wasn't even mist. To call it mist wouldn't even be accurate. And you spotted this crawlway that was built into the retaining wall of your estate, and you climbed through that, and that took you into a very unfamiliar room. There's this long, undulating tunnel. And when you got out, you realized that you were in some kind of workshop. There were drafting tables, there's architectural tools, there's cluttering everywhere. You saw this partial archway just like sitting in the middle of the room as well, with like this these kind of like copper and brass metal like wrapped around it here and there. Chauncey, you managed to collect some schematics that had some weird things on it. Basically, first it was they were all by someone by the name of Forsyth Mainwallen, and it referenced something called a sacral void. And other little odds and ends that you probably remember yourself. You also had a lockstone cabinet in there. When you opened that up, you found a metal cylinder that had these presentation papers by the same Forsyth, also describing that sacral void. And there were some other things in there as well. Then I think it was Fortuna. Well, the one thing I should say is the cabinet also looked like it was missing something too. So it looked like you weren't the first person to open this recently. And then Fortuna, you managed to figure out a little bit about how this partial archway works. And like you kind of just touched a few of these recognizable symbols, and suddenly a portal opened up to the second floor landing of your estate. Arkadiy hopped out, talked to a guard. Guard didn't really know what to tell him. He's like, I haven't really seen her, not recently anyway. And not only that, but people are going nuts. Like everyone's splitting off. Like no one really see. Like all the Mainwallens have disappeared. Like Arkadiy was the first Mainwallen he's seen in an hour. All of the guests were starting to complain and scatter. Eventually, Chauncey came out too, and the two of you went down into the main noble floor where your guests were waiting. The servants had disappeared. They had gone to get new refreshments, but they never returned, and so everyone was kind of losing their minds. One of the Bonaventures, according to your friend Randy, or cousin Randy, if you want to trust Fortuna's records, one of the Bonaventures climbed out a window. There were apparently snakes that were like chained and blocking the doors, but climbed out a window, tried to escape through the front gate of your estate, but it didn't work, as his body was just sort of battered and in pain there on the front yard somewhere. And then the other thing he told you, Chauncey, was that your wife, Valentina, when it was discovered that all the Mainwallens were starting to disappear and all the servants never returned, she took it upon herself to go figure out what was happening. So poor Valentina, who Chauncey has thrown so brazenly into danger, is now missing. Okay. So that's where we're at. Let's get a little music going. We're going to open up a little bit before this, and we're going to focus in on Vincent. Vincent, the last we saw of you, you were standing at the door into this chapel, and you had, with the help of Fortuna, the two of you have figured out a way inside. You managed to break through these chains. It's around this point, Arkadiy catches up to everybody. And we watch as one by one, Chauncey, Arkadiy, Fortuna, Solovita go inside the chapel. But you're kind of waiting on the steps. Vincent, something catches your attention that leads you away from the stairs. And I would like you to tell me, what do you think would lure Vincent away from the steps? Like into the darkness of the recesses of this strangely reorganized estate yard. What do you think it would catch Vincent's attention?
There's faint whispers, shrieking that catches attention. He wants to follow where that sound's coming from.
Okay, so you hear the sounds. Is it like a voice? Do you think, or is it just like, or maybe is it like tears? Do you hear someone like weeping? What do you think?
Faint bellowing voice, just calling out to them.
Okay. You hear the sounds of your voice, of your name, and it's thick with an accent. And you can hear like Vincente, and you can see it's like, you can tell it's being spoken by somebody with kind of great emotion. Like they're not just stating it very plainly, but they're like almost pleading. You hear it coming from one of these like this series of hedgerows that kind of branch off perpendicular from the chapel itself. And when you kind of push through, you notice like there's no there's no signs of a person, but you do see on the ground what appears to be like a broken series of stones of some kind. You can see like stones or marble. As your eyes adjust, you can tell it looks like a broken statue.
On seeing a broken statue, I'd probably focus a bit more and use my spirit sight, get a glimpse into the spirit world, see what's going on here.
Okay. As you kind of readjust a bit, first you're hit by like a blinding white light, as if like you're almost overwhelmed, like sensory overload for a moment. But as you shake it off, you can see that there's a figure like right next to this broken statue. It's a woman, relatively middle-aged. You would also tell that she's like dressed very finely and squat somewhat, but she's dressed like a noble would. And you see her almost like kneeling down and just like picking, almost like trying to pick up the stone fractures. And this is whose voice you've been hearing. As you can now hear it even further, you see her mouth move, and this like distant sound comes into your ear, and it sounds almost like she's saying your name. She's saying Vincent, and she's trying to pick them up almost ineffectually.
I've heard your wails. What brings you such sorrow?
She looks up for a moment, and you can see through her. You can see through her. You can see the hedgerows, the leaves behind her, kind of just slightly illuminated by the various little lights now that are now scattered about your estate grounds. And she says, "My poor Vincente, my Vincente, look what she did. Look at it." And she's motioning with her arms and with her head down to the broken statue.
Who did this to him?
The one with the one they know as Arkadiy. She's not herself. She is not herself. You see, she is small. They never liked one another. You see.
And Vincent, do you have any points in nobility or any points in like forgotten lore? Do you think?
Yeah, I have nobility, forgotten lore as well. I have both.
Okay. As she keeps mentioning the name Vincente, you realize she's not talking about you. You realize she's talking about like your namesake, a name that has passed through in generations amongst the family. Just like Eliana, there's been multiple, and there's been other names that have passed through. And with Vincente, you would know that is a name that has probably appeared multiple times, at least 3 or 4 throughout the generations. So likely she's talking about somebody else. So it occurs to you it's not you. And because you also have like nobility, I would say you would probably be able to recognize that this, like the style of her dress, even in its spectral state, is very old. You would guess this is not just like 2 or 3 generations ago. This is 7, 8, 9 generations ago. This is a long time ago.
Is there something keeping you here?
And she looks up at you and she says,
I don't want to leave. I am still tethered here. I wanted to spend my time with Vincente, but he is gone. She has sent him away. My poor Vincente. Will you avenge him? Would you? Please.
And you can see she kind of starts crawling a little bit on the ground, so to speak, kind of in your direction. Please.
I'll set you at ease. I'll avenge him.
Yes. First her, and then the one inside of her. Please, please.
Inside of her. She possessed.
Yes, 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 she is. But Vincente's brother, the Castellar, he was such a fickle and horrible one. So petty, so cruel. But my Vincente, he was beautiful. He was an artist, a musician. And that Castellar, he is just so petty, so cruel. Oh, please, please.
And she comes up, you seem, and you can tell as she reaches out to touch you, like you can feel her, the spectral energy of her touch kind of brush against your arm, and you can see it goes through it. It's not like she's making physical contact, but you can kind of feel the coldness of her as she's beseeching you.
Then I shouldn't linger here any longer.
No. This is a dangerous place. Please, be careful. Be so very careful. Make her pay. Make him pay. Please, please.
I'll nod and back away from her.
And then you can see
she says, thank you.
And she starts backing away from you, and she just goes back to her weeping. By the time you get back to the chapel, you realize they're all not there. You push the door open. You don't see Arkadiy or Chauncey or Fortuna or Solovita. You didn't walk too far away, but by the time you get back, they are now missing. Was there anything you wanted to do in the chapel before? Because you can, if there's anything you wanted to do in particular, we can touch on that before cutting back to the others.
Also, I left you a note on the door.
Oh, that's great. Thank you. When you push and go into the door, what was the note, Solovita?
It was literally just directions to where we'd gone, I believe.
Okay, yeah. And so it just, Solovita gives you, because I think you said you were following Altavira towards this atrium. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, we had seen where she was going, and I left a note saying that we had gone in that direction.
So you go into this chapel, Vincent, and you can tell the imagery in here it's not entirely unfamiliar to you, as you spent some time going through the undervaults and seeing some of the sort of the strangeness of it all. But you definitely see this isn't a Denari church, right? You see a dead body that has been taken down from the rafters. Initially, you had seen it with Fortuna. You can see the bell tower door has been closed. You can see that there's pews that are spiraled around, and then you see this note from Solovita as you turn and look around right on the door.
I'll make note of that and enter the chapel.
Okay.
I'd like to maybe attune to the state, possibly, magically. Maybe I can control a little bit of what's going on.
Okay. I'll tell you what, there is a potential spend. If you wanted to make a corruption spend. Yeah, if you wanted to make a corruption spend, there is actually something you could glean from this.
Sounds good. I'll spend one.
Okay. As you are sort of sitting amongst the pews or up by the altar, by the body, when you begin to reach out, this place is highly corrupted. And maybe it's something about attuning, or maybe it's more you just trying to find a way to navigate or investigate the corruption, exactly what has happened. And as you open your eyes, it's a very still room with the exception of these dancing lights above you. And you can see on the side walls, there are these mirror icons. And as you're looking around, you start to see movement in them. And when you look over, you can see the mirror shows this distorted image of Altavira. And you can see she's dragging this body that you can now see on the altar next to you, the dead body of Bellamira. But you can see something that it's not just her arms that are dragging, but you can see that these long scaled kind of serpent tails are emerging from her back, from the folds of her dress, and are helping pull the body with her, like are wrapping her coiled around here and there, and are just dragging and dragging and dragging. And it's I'm not sure how much has Solavita told Vincent about what happens when corruption overtakes her with her magic, like the scales that form. Would Solavita have shared that at all?
Probably when we started this campaign, Vincent and Solavita had been comparing notes on magic and learning from each other. In that phase, we definitely probably would have talked about it.
And so, Vincent, you would see that from the same... So Solavita has conveyed to you that sometimes when she taps too strongly, or when she loses control of her magic, right, or she tries to tap and pull too much, sometimes scales form on her back. Very similar, but much more advanced. Like entire scaled appendages seem to have grown at the back of Altavira. And that is what you see as you attune to the corruptive effects of the chapel. So, we're going to cut from there. We're going to check back in with Fortuna and Solavita. Last we saw, Chauncey and Arkadiy were talking to Randy, and he was telling you about what's going on. But Fortuna and Solavita, you were still inside of the workshop, which you can probably assume at this point is safely the workshop of someone by the name of Orthythe Mainwallen, one of your ancestors. So you can see, again, around the room, there are a couple different drafting tables. There are tools, architectural and engineering schematics and such have been collected already, those that are intact. The flickering portal is still there. You can see the back of your house guard who does not notice you whatsoever. And then there's this locked stone cabinet that you have managed to open up already. You've pulled from it that metal cylinder, but there also is that small pouch inside. So what are the two of you doing?
Fortuna, great Aunt Fortuna, great Aunt Fortuna.
Got it.
Auntie Fortuna. If you go check the sack, I think you started something very interesting here. I think I'm going to see what documents are close by and experiment and see if I can change what the Stargate is. I'm going to call it a Stargate. I feel it's an appropriate name that represents what's happening here. So I'm going to change the pointer on the Stargate so that it goes somewhere else and see if we can find Altavira.
It's a door. We're stepping through it.
A gate, a big gate full of magic. So we're going to say stars and then a gate. So Stargate.
I will call it a door. And we should, though, you are correct, though. We should check out everything there is in this cabinet. Arkadiy and Chauncey are going to talk to the guests. And she kind of shakes her head a bit. But we should make sure that we've looked at everything that is in these cabinets before we find a different way through the door gate.
Yes. I'm worried that we're going to lose too much time chasing after Altavira if we go through and help Chauncey and Arkadiy. So we're going to have to trust them to know what they're doing. And they'll do a good job. So yes.
Chauncey can talk to anyone at any time.
She does not know us very well.
Great effect.
I'm being positive.
But we're learning so many things as we go. I agree. We should take time. We should make haste, but we should also be thorough. Yes. So let's examine these cabinets. Let's see what there is. Let's make sure we're not missing anything that could be important later.
And if Arkadiy ends up killing all of our guests, we'll deal with that later as well.
I agree with you. We trust. And she just keeps saying it like she's just going to say that out loud.
We're both trying to convince each other and ourselves, I believe, of the same thing.
And so were you going for the sack, or was...
I was going to leave the sack for you to explore, and I was going to ask Jeff if he would allow, I guess, a forgotten lore on this, or I do have the architects and canal watchers.
To try to activate this thing, to try to change its...
to better understand how to control it.
Okay. I think Fortuna already did a forgotten lore spend.
Okay.
So I would say if you wanted to try to change where it directs to, you can make a spend. I will warn you though ahead of time that I have a table in terms of where it goes to. So it's less about being able to control it. If you had ridiculous luck, I would say you could probably control, or prophecy even, I would say you could probably control it. But yeah, forgotten lore would just probably be random.
So if Chauncey and I were still there,
Yeah.
you guys would be
Yeah.
No problem. No problem.
Yeah.
So the two people that are on the other side of it
Yeah.
are the people
Sorry.
that we needed on this side of it.
What kind of
That's what you get when you play sick. Make bad choices.
I don't think Arkadiy did anything out of the ordinary. I think it all made perfect sense.
Yeah.
Well, while you're thinking, Fortuna, you grab the little kind of leather pouch.
The pouch, yeah.
And when you open it up, you realize there is it looks like a circular token. It's about this. It could sit in your palm. It's like a large silver dollar, essentially, and it looks as you stare at it. It is ovular, and it is certainly made from some kind of metal. But in the interior of it, because it's really just a frame, it looks like there is almost like a stained glass painting, like an extraordinary intricate design. And looking at the painting, and looking at like what's actually painted, you can see what looks like a grassy kind of field, and there is this like meandering path down the middle. And that is what it looks like. Do you have Forgotten Lore?
Looking at this grassy field, I do have Forgotten Lore.
Okay. I'll tell you this, like as you first take it out of your hand and you feel it sit into your palm, you look up for a second and you look around the room and you swear just for a moment, like out of the corner of your eye, you swear you just saw a door appear in the wall. Remember, there's no door in this room at all. All you have is this archway and that little the crawl space that you came in through. You swear it just manifested and it flashed away at the same time. So I will tell you that you have just discovered a magical item, which might have something to do with secret doors.
Oh my word. So she's holding this, and so she's looking at the image. So this sort of grassy area with a pathway through it. And so she's trying to think, like, does this look familiar? Does this look like our newly reshapen grounds, essentially? So she's kind of looking intently at it.
No, it doesn't look anything familiar. It just looks like a path and through a meadow or a garden. But you do notice, however, that the path sometimes seems to meander a bit. Like you can see it sometimes starts to curve slightly differently or different angle, that kind of thing.
And so what she wants to do as she's looking at it is then she's thinking that if she, almost sort of like if you look at something for a long time and then look at like a blank wall, like what is sort of the after image. So then she's thinking if she looks at this longer and then looks at the wall, does she like see the door again, or does the image last a little longer?
Okay. As you concentrate, a door appears, a frame in the stone, and it is very much a door. So I'll just tell you now, it's a token of the unmoored path. I dropped it in your inventory. It is a sorceress item. Once per scene, you can create a door or a passage where none exist. The destination is unpredictable, but real. So you will go to a real place. And when used in conjunction with the prophecy investigative ability, the wielder can actually get a incomplete glimpse of what the destination might be. Otherwise, you open the door and you don't know exactly where you're opening it to.
Oh, that's so cool. Fortuna, and Fortuna's a little bit wary, so she sees the door and she says, niece.
Yes.
Do you also see? And she's pointing towards the wall. Do you also see
a wall?
doorway?
tapestry on the wall?
So, Levita, as you move around, you point, and then finally you see it. There is a doorway in this room now.
Oh. That wasn't there before.
It was not. I found this wondrous item that when I look at it, and then I look at the wall, it creates a doorway.
Oh, to where?
You were never satisfied, young one. I looked at this thing and created a doorway. And now you want that is not good enough, and now it has to be, I don't know where exactly. There is a door in a wall where there was not a door before. This is
yay!
wondrous.
Clap, clap, clap.
Do you open the door?
Yeah, of course.
Okay. Roll 2d6 and tell me the total.
Ooh. 10.
You guys are excited.
Jeremy just wrote, damn you and your rational questions.
Okay. Wow. 10 you said. Okay. You open the door, and first you notice a smell more than anything else first, because it is very dark on the inside as you open the door. It's a very, it smells like amber, or like burnt wood in some way, kind of wafting in your direction. And as the door opens up, you look in and you can see the room is kind of, again, oddly shaped, no real right angles. You notice a curling staircase at the far end of it. The light begins to suddenly glow a bit more as you start to see these sconces on the wall begin to flicker. They're like these sort of bronzed encased sconces with a little bit of a glass covering to them. It definitely looks like there's some kind of couch, like a settee, like in the middle, and you can see that there are all these beautiful paintings on the wall, not portraits, but paintings of what appear to be landscapes and such. You don't hear anyone in there. You go inside?
Yes.
Have you looked at everything that you wanted to look at over there before we go through?
Yes, I just wanted to try one time just to see what would happen. And then, yes, we can go through your magical door. And I would like to, I guess, maybe try a sorcerer roll just to see where we end up if I hit a bunch of the different points.
Yeah, it would be a spend.
Okay.
So you would need to do if I would take corruption if you wanted to do a corruption.
I was going to
spend,
offer corruption. I will need Melissa the 5 audience dice to refresh corruption to then spend corruption.
Okay.
Okay, so this is your once per adventure.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's why I was trying to be a bit sneaky about it, but I did figure it would be corruption, yes.
Roll 2d6. If you roll a 10, re-roll it.
I got it. 2d6. I rolled a 9.
Oh, wow. You see through the portal a place that you have already seen before, or at least vaguely, as you see a slightly underwater courtyard that you passed through when leaving the chapel. You remember this place because you were looking at these kind of weeping statues.
Mm-hmm.
You do, however, notice something different as you see Vincent walking past.
Oh, Fortuna, Vincent is coming. Maybe we should wait a moment for him before we can go out and bring him down here and then go through your door.
Oh,
I don't think he's going to necessarily find the walkway and everything. You guys just told him the direction you went. So.
Yeah, that's what I mean. So we go out of this portal, pick him up, come back down here and go through your portal. So double portals, 2 portals.
Yes, because you will just circle. You go through, grab him, come back through the tunnel, and then we go through.
Yes. Okay. Don't wander off by yourself. I'm going.
I will say that this happens, Vincent, out of nowhere. Solavita finds you.
Vincent.
And I'm going to say,
That's Solavita. I was just on my way.
Yes. Come with me now. Quickly. We're losing time.
And she just grabs him and goes.
Okay. So the two of you go off to the edge of the property and you backtrack through the retaining wall. We're going to cut to Arkadiy and Chauncey. So Arkadiy, Chauncey, Randy, and a few others, you're in this noble room. Like you can see now that Chauncey and Arkadiy, now that you're here, some of these people are coming up to you and kind of demanding to know, what is going on here? Why have you chained us in here? a couple notables that you notice aren't missing in addition to your own families. Like you don't see any of the Denari representatives. So you don't see Father Mikali or his like the Inquisitor people that were with him when he gave the last rites. You can see one or two of the Bonaventures are still here. You obviously don't see your wife, and you hang on, double check who else is not here. That'll do. Yeah, that'll do. But otherwise, like there's still a handful of people in here, but it's far less populated. And so Brandy's looking at you like, and the chime just went off, and he's literally just said, and then like, and there's that thing. As he like kind of points to the sound. What are we doing, guys? What the hell's going on?
Dear friend Randy, it's quite obvious. We have all been captured in some sorcerer's web where the Manwallant family is being hunted down and murdered one by one. Perhaps servants too. So yes, perhaps death and destruction for all who are here.
You are you're a straight shooter. I appreciate it. Appreciate that about you.
Everyone should have an opportunity to control their own fate, so you might as well know.
Okay. All right. What do you guys want me to do?
Welcome to family, by the way.
Hey, it's better than my last one. They kicked me out. So by default, that means y'all are better. There it is.
He's through. Obviously, we're going to allow Chauncey to talk to all people here so that I don't cause a stampede of screaming terror.
I don't really have a good lie to tell them. I think I'm just going to... Oh, boy. Yeah.
You see limping over towards you. No, actually, no. I'm going to say one woman you see coming over towards you is an older woman that you know is like the attendant at the necropolis on Giglio Hill. Petronella Corvo. She comes over to you, and she looks like there's a level of serenity to her, but you can tell her hair is starting to fray and kind of coming out, and like she's definitely seeming to be a little nervous. She also like wears like black, even though that's just her thing. It's got nothing to do with the fact that she's effectively awake, but she is just like, I beg your pardon. Do you have any reason to not allow us to leave? Will we be allowed to leave soon, Mr. Mainwallens?
I want to say, my dear friends and companions that are here, it is not by our design that you are remaining here. It is not by my design either. I don't fully understand what's going on. However, we have the best, the brightest minds in this estate working on it right this moment. But let it be clear, there is danger. We've heard of the snakes, the strange things that I don't personally understand, but we are going to rally together. We're going to stay close to one another. We are not going to stay still. No, we are going to gather those who are weak or infirm, keep them in the center. The rest of us that are whole are going to surround them. We are going to methodically work together, try to find those who are missing, rally back together, whilst those who are wiser than myself solve this problem. We will survive. I will beg your forgiveness later, but for now, we survive.
Roll a command spend. You want to do a command spend? Yeah, you can. Yeah,
sure. And I'll even I'll do the thing where I'm not going to say anything, but just to try and get people's attention, I do have the Falcon's Eye, and it like that probably presents like a certain image, and just do the cheesy like Falcon's Eye up in the air while doing it, and then do the command spend. Like let people assume what they want to assume.
Sure. Definitely some people will take notice of that because it's illegal for you to be carrying it. So there's certain people who are noticing it. But I will say because you make the spend, no one will immediately, and since you're specifically giving them instructions like that we're going to, like you're going to look and you're going to find the people that are missing. It's like, yes, so we're splitting into search teams. Is that what you are saying, Mr. Chauncey?
I mean, depending on like how big a group we are, I almost want us to stay together.
I would probably say there's probably too many people to
I wasn't quite sure like what the scope.
Yeah, you're looking at maybe 15 people or so. Okay, probably scattered about in here. Yeah. So she's like, no, your beautiful wife, Miss Valentina. She is among the missing. You know.
So
and even to try and like prevent things from like caterwauling, if there is a member of the Bonaventure family that's still here, somebody that I know in the future is likely to give me shit, what I'll do to circumvent that is I'm going to appoint them as the head of the other party.
Juliana Bonaventure is here. You do see her with her beautiful hair,
right,
dolled up.
My fair lady, I think it's fair to assume you are a remarkably level-headed woman. I would hope that you would be willing to take up heading the second party. I beg of you. I know it's too much, but if we can trust anybody here to hold such an important thing, it would be you, would it not?
I'm very honored that you would consider me to take on this task. My husband, I believe you have heard, attempted to depart, but the house, the estate did not let him. He is very injured now. Vittorio, my father-in-law, he is... and she looks over and you can see he's just kind of sprawled out in the corner, like sleeping at this point. But yes, I'd be honored to take the task. Yes, of course.
So much.
Okay, so she's going to group together a couple of the NPCs and such, and she'll get them together. Meanwhile, Randy's like, okay, so she's in charge of them. I can't be in charge. All right.
That's because our family hates us for the most part, and so let them be off over there instead of sniping at us. Whereas you, the man I trust more than anybody else in the world, I want you by my side. It's
even
scary out there.
It's very wise, Randy, to trust you more than me. I am disreputable human being.
Yeah, I'm pretty trustworthy. Yeah,
and
everyone says that about
and
me.
Sly, but you're the Rock. Actually, no, you sunk the Rock.
I sunk the rock. Yeah, I did. Didn't I? Yeah. Okay. All right. Yeah. Yeah. No, I understand. I get it. Yeah. No problem. I'm
being
sunk the
selfish.
rock.
What it is, I want you with me.
Dear cousin, did any of these people see where your wife disappeared to? Where into the house she went? Perhaps I'm assuming you want to go find her.
She said, as I talked to her, she said she's heading to the kitchens to see what's going on with the servants, and that I should stay out here, like to have a proper presence. No one listens to me, so the proper presence isn't a thing where they're working, but that's what she was looking for. So.
Well, then, let's...
Okay. So you guys basically have sort of two leads you can potentially go to. One is the kitchens to look for Valentina. And don't forget that you also had that little lead for Pelletier's study as well. So those are the other option you have. At no point has Fortuna or Solovita come down. So where would you say the two of you would like to head next?
I mean, Chauncey's selfish. Go ahead.
No, this is what I was asking, Chauncey. Shall we go kitchen first to find your wife before we check out study?
I would really like to do that. There's a handful of people I truly care about, and one of them is in there, and I would very much like to...
Well, then stop talking. Let's move.
Okay. The two, and I'm assuming you said you're bringing Randy with you? You want Randy with you?
Yeah.
Okay. So the three of you go, and it's not hard to find the kitchens. It's exactly where you have to kind of go through this formal dining area, and then you kind of follow some of these like servant halls that maybe the two of you actually maybe have slipped through here from time to time, but most of the regal members of your family probably don't. But eventually you do find yourselves in the kitchen, which are expansive, but you can tell immediately upon arriving that something has gone amiss. You can see that like flour and various other like dry goods are like scattered everywhere. It definitely looks like it's in disarray. You can see different utensils, and like you can see some apples and some other like fruits have kind of spilled over from the baskets on top of the counters they were in, where someone was probably making like some kind of pie or whatever. And the oven itself has died out. Like you can tell it's a wood burning kind of a wood burning stove, I should say. That has died out. You can tell it hasn't been tended in a little bit of time. and you don't see any immediate signs of servants. It's a relatively expansive space. There's a big island in the middle where it looks like a lot of prep is done. The wood-fired oven is on one side. There's a door that goes out, to the back of the estate, and then there's a doorway to like a lot of the pantries, and then the underground storage where you keep some of your goods. What are the two of you using in terms of looking around? What do you think? What skills are we at?
I have civility. I'm actually somewhat familiar with this area.
Okay, I like it. So you might be able to notice what's amiss other than the obvious, like what? Yeah, something subtle. Okay. What about you, Arkadiy?
Vigilance. He's looking for the clues as to what happened or where people are.
Okay. Arkadiy, you definitely notice some flickers of blood, as if which maybe isn't the most alien thing to find in a kitchen where people are using knives to cut things, but you don't find them like up on the chopping blocks and such. You find it like on the ground, scattered about here and there. It definitely looks like there's a sign of some kind of scuffle, and with all of the flour and starches and such on the ground, like you can tell like there's like movements of people scuffling and drag marks. And Chauncey, you would notice with your ranks and servility that the door to the pantry looks to be ajar, we'll say. Like you can tell you've seen people come and go into the pantry over and over and over again. It looks ajar, and it also looks like coming out from underneath the door itself, like creeping up over the frame up to the ceiling. It almost looks like roots have started to grow and like vines have started to spread on the wall a bit, which is certainly not something that you recall seeing.
Chauncey will kind of like wordlessly and cowardly like reach back, kind of like tapping at Arkadiy and pointing at that.
It's unusual. You see, roots growing in house. This yes. Does this correspond where the roots are coming up with where the drag marks were going?
Yes, Arkadiy, you would be able to put two and two together. You see whatever large, like kind of something large being dragged, a sack, a body, who knows. It definitely seems to be going in the direction of where the pantry door is.
Chauncey, see, drag marks looks like, and spots of blood looks like something was dragged through into pantry from which the roots are coming. Perhaps we must investigate a little closer. Why don't I go first? I know
cover you.
I know you would like to charge in to save wife, but let me look first, all right?
I trust your professionalism. If you insist.
And you peek into the pantry, I assume. Okay. You push the door. It's a very large pantry, walk-in pantry, shelves left and right. You can see the same disarray that's out in the main kitchen is also here. Jars have fallen and broken on the ground, places where things have been pickled or just stored in some way. And that obviously is alarming, but the most obvious thing and the most alarming thing is the fact the ground itself seems to have ruptured, and coming up out of it, you can see what looks like these roots and vines that are starting to grow along the walls and on the ceiling and crawling up out, and it leaves like a huge hole as well. So there's plenty of room as well. And that's exactly where whatever was being dragged got dragged down into the hole where all those roots are coming up out of.
Dear cousin, looks like whatever was being dragged, not to say beautiful wife, but whatever was being dragged, has been pulled down into the hole. So perhaps you wish to go down in hole?
Of course I don't want to, but I'm going to.
Yes, good man. Good man. Would you like me to go first? This is not a hard question, Chauncey.
Yes.
All right, then.
Okay. So the two of you and Randy will begin to, much like Jack and the Beanstalk, you're like climbing down these vines. And we're going to cut from there, and we're going to go back to the workshop room where we now see Solavita, Fortuna, and Vincent. So Vincent, you have crawled through this walkway, this crawl space, that Solavita led you into. When you pop up, you see this big room full of drafting tables and tools. You can see there is a half-built archway with all sorts of metal tubes wrapped around it that is showing what looks like, the place you just came from, this drowned atrium. And then you see Fortuna is like just standing at this doorway and like peeking in, like looking and looking. And so the three of you are now together. What would you like to do, the three of you?
I found, I got Vincent.
Where did you disappear to?
Something caught my attention. I've come to learn that Arkadiy is possessed. Familiar with Castlear?
Oh, shit. Castlear!
You have been quite busy.
Okay, so Vincent, remember you talked to Castlear with his skin display underneath, and we decided to just leave him there because we thought, what harm could he do?
Well, it seems like a lot of harm.
Yeah, so next time let's not leave the ghosts behind. And make them go back in their statues, I think.
This is bad. This is bad. This is okay.
He's had, 10 years to do this?
Yeah. Yes, very bad.
This is bad news.
And Fortuna points to I now have a token that can make a doorway in the wall.
I should tell you, I've also been I've been working on my leechcraft, which means I've also been experimenting with family alchemy, including some of Castlear's works. I've been reading them a lot. They're pretty nasty. But yes, let's go do the doorway. This seems like much more optimism.
Well, hopefully this will give us insight into some of the things that he can do then. You should always read up and... Yes. Okay. Are we ready? I'm not sure if this is a step through at the same time kind of situation, but we're ready. We got what we needed to from the cabinet.
Yes. Yes, it's empty. Let's maybe hold hands just in case.
Just in case. And Fortuna needs to be on one side because she kind of walks with the cane, so it'll be Fortuna, then Solavita, then Vincent.
You would think, Fortuna, it might be best if you go in last. I would say that
on second thought
might. Yes.
Perhaps because I'm holding this, that perhaps I should go last and you go ahead.
Oh, all right. No problem.
His door closes behind.
Vincent, that's called the Stargate. All right, on we go.
Okay. As the three of you push through, it isn't more than a second after your full body leaves the doorway that the doorway just disappears and you see behind you is solid wall and you no longer see the workshop. The room that you enter is very quiet and it has these strange bends. You can tell, like the walls themselves. Oddly enough, there's like no right angles as you look around. Everything's kind of curved in some ways. In some cases, there's harder, more acute angles at other places. Doesn't really have much consistency. You notice as you start to come in a little bit closer that the sconces in the room begin to illuminate a little brighter at your presence. And you can see that there is on one side, there is a curling staircase that kind of winds halfway up one of the walls before it just kind of stops and ends in shadow. There's all sorts of drapery that you can see along some of the walls, these mismatched fabrics that are just kind of hanging in place. And you can see they're moving almost as if there's a breeze, but you don't feel a breeze. Like I said, the smell is like a perfume-like smell of like amber, of like an old wood. And there is a kind of heavy curved doorway that sits slightly off center. And you can see its frame is sort of warped a bit by these strange walls. And the ground underneath you, the floorboards are creaking a bit. There's this faded settee, like this big winding couch right in the middle. It's kind of slouching there. It's velvet. And then you can see that there are dozens of framed landscapes that are lining the walls. Beautiful paintings, sunlit valleys. You see an icy mountain road. You can see some dense forests, some glittering cities, in fact. It just feels like, as you step in, it just feels odd. Like there's something about this room to you that just looking around it and seeing the shadows and the lines of sight just feel a little bit peculiar to the three of you. What would you say the three of you are doing? What catches your interest? What investigative ability would you say that you are using to poke around this room?
So Fortuna's going to kind of, with her cane, kind of wrap Silvita and Vincent kind of on the back of the legs. You made this old woman climb the stairs in the last room. I will not be doing that again. One of the two of you should go.
Made is a strong word.
Just saying, these bones are not going to, these knees are not going to make that climb again. I will go look at the landscapes on the wall.
Do you know where you've taken us?
I do not. This is not with everything. I have decades and decades and decades and taken it a point of pride to know everything about our estate, and none of this is familiar to me. In fact, it is quite upsetting, actually.
Take a quick look.
Okay. So Fortuna is looking at some of these landscapes. Vincent, what do you think you're turning your attention to, and or what investigative ability do you think you're using to explore this space?
I'll just get a run up the stairs to get like an idea of where we are.
Okay. You start moving up the curling staircase and you realize that it's cut off by the ceiling. It's literally a spiral stair that weaves around, goes into shadow until you're no longer lit by the sconces in the room. And it just gets completely cut off. Like there's no trap door, there's nothing above you, it just stops. The stone steps that you're like walking on as you come up, they're definitely uneven and worn. They look very much like they have been used quite regularly. But you don't see where on earth they would be going to, as it just kind of goes up into a ceiling. They literally just stop the ceiling.
I hope that thing can take us out of here, because we're locked.
That's what is this a walled off part of our manor? Maybe that's why we haven't seen it. Jeff, would I be able to, I have a fairly good understanding of architecture. Would I be able to make an educated guess on where something this size might be hidden within the manor?
Yeah, so this is definitely, this is a more normal looking room in the sense that there is a door out of here. Like you can see a door. It's not like there's not like the workshop. So if you had to guess, you would think this is more than likely a like it's probably like a exterior door, or excuse me, exterior room, but not near the bedrooms where your family stays. So it's probably on one of these closed off or unexplored wings. You would think there's tons of drapery, so you would imagine that goes to the windows, and so it's probably an exterior room. It's not like, obviously for you would definitely be. It looks ridiculous. It looks like the angles and the curves just make no sense. But it definitely seems to be rooted in the fact that there is a door out of here. So it's not like you're trapped.
Well, I'm not a big fan of this room. It doesn't make a lot of architectural sense. It's messy, if you will. Probably exterior. We've got the door, cut off wing area, I'm thinking, but let me take a look here. And can I use, I guess, city secrets to try to double check and confirm if there's secret passages in this zone? If I can go and look at that ceiling that Vincent hit and see if there's like any way through that I can discern?
Okay.
I don't mind spending city secrets or something else.
No spend necessary.
Okay.
I think you would be able to tell that the staircase doesn't go anywhere in particular. However, with your skill, with your your Guild of Architects experience, right? You can tell that the ceiling of this room does not align materially with the rest of the materials in the room. if you had to guess, Solovita, you would think that the ceiling is from a different room. Like, this isn't the right ceiling for this place. You would think somehow someone has put the wrong ceiling on top of this room. Does that make sense?
Yes. This is not the right stone to go against this stone. This maybe is newer than this one. It's not the right match.
Like everything here. It just does. It's in the wrong place. It's there's the stairs are used.
Someone tore apart our manor and just stuck it together like a child.
Very much so.
I would know.
Fortuna, you were looking at the landscapes, right?
Yeah, so I was thinking like either nobility or city secrets, probably with the looking at the landscapes.
Okay. I'll give you, I think nobility, you would probably be somewhat educated in foreign affairs to some degree, at least as far as like various merchant ports. You've recognized some of these landscapes. You can certainly see like there's one that's of steam-choked avenues that you assume is Kame. There's another one that looks like a rainforest that's surrounded. It's like a rainforest city, I should say. And you can see there's like ziggurats and hanging gardens, which you think is probably something from the Theocracy of Erebos. You think you've probably read something about that. I mean, you've talked to Arkadiy for years. He's been one of your closest confidants and protectors. You can certainly recognize the Kingdom of Irelev and Luzrek, the shimmering in ice, and you can see the cold river of the Ilisalan. Like you would recognize these things. One of them certainly looks like it would, like there's these sorceress spires of Irans that you would think are, you probably have never been there or been too interested in, but they're almost like folkloric and legendary in some ways because they're crooked and they're clinging to like these jagged cliffs over a place called the Moonlit Sea. And you're pretty sure that's what you're looking at here. And there's like these storms rolling off in the distance. And then you notice that one more looks like it's like a petrified forest. And you can see there's all these like obsidian thorns like jutting up out of like cracked clay. It's like this it's a horrific looking place with destroyed ancient buildings. You can see these weird shimmering images of, well, they look like monstrous forms in the distance. Your time doing research into the last college, into the Saltbound, you might have learned about the destroyed plateau. And then one of them catches your attention even more than the others. One of them shows what looks like an interior chamber, and it's lined with what looks like alcoves and these strange fountains. They definitely, it almost looks like there's like a stone mouth coming out of each alcove that's supposed to be pouring out liquid, like you would think fountain, but it's like red liquid coming out. And you can see that at the far end, there is this long table, and you see that there's figures that are aligned, and like they're in the alcoves, and they are holding goblets, and you can see that they are kind of speaking. And a couple of them are like cutting their palms. And damn it, Fortuna, one of them looks just like you. And you look at another one, and that's Chauncey. And Arkadiy is super easy to recognize. The bald head, the mustache, no problem. You see Vincent, you see Solovita, and you see all these other portraits of different members of your main Wallen family aligned in this hall with all of these goblets in one hand, some of them cutting their palms with another. It looks like it's a recently painted picture. You notice, though, in the bottom right-hand corner, there is a signature, Valentina Mainwallen. You can see the big V. Do you and Kipser remember who that is, by the way? And
Kipser's nodding, so go right ahead.
Go ahead, Kipser. You want to share it?
Kipser.
Who that is?
Well,
I don't know if this is the right one or not, but my mother's name happened to be Valentina in my backstory.
Yeah, your sister's name is Valentina.
Your sister,
Fortuna.
my mother.
You forgot your deceased sister's name. How dare you?
Was Valentina, the same as Chauncey's wife's name.
Well, and that's what I was like, oh dear, that's what I'm thinking. Niece.
Well, we know that Chauncey took the Scarpaccio name. So it's Chauncey Scarpaccio. It's not, it's not Valentina Maynard. Yeah.
That's true. That's true. So, yes.
Niece, come look. Vincent as well. This painting is of us and niece, look at the artist's name.
That doesn't make sense. She was murdered and dumped in a canal. My father killed her when I was quite young. She can't have done that.
And squinting at the as she does, kind of Fortuna has, kind of the little glasses that she puts out. And we are older now. This makes no sense at all.
I do a quick look on this painting just as Fortuna's talking. Do I see Natal on there? And do I see Chauncey's children on there as well?
You do not. You don't see any children.
Okay.
You don't see any children whatsoever.
Well, older versions of them, but yes, okay.
No, they all all these they're not portraits. It's just they're standing figures of people, and you can recognize it. If anyone has looked closely, Arkadiy's been having trouble with his hand, and even in this portrait, you see him kind of his hands kind of it's almost kind of closed with a claw at one point. Chauncey looks a little bit older. He's got the dad bod, going on. All the images definitely look like you. Any of the three of you have vigilance?
No, only Arkadiy has that.
One thing I'll give you.
That was an unfortunate choice on my part to get rid of vigilance during our last and swap it out.
It's fine to do that. Just never leave Arkadiy's side if you don't. It's such a useless skill. One thing you would get for free is that you see there's a little brass plaque, like a little panel that has the title of the painting. It says Hall of Thirsts on it.
Hall of Thirsts.
But I don't think that is that's something you would know.
Is Altavira a figure in this?
Very much.
Blast her.
You see Pelletier.
Do I see? Well, I guess does Vincent see? I guess no. I saw the statue. Kazalar Maynwallen in there as well.
No, but he also is a ghost. So
yes,
you only see physical people here. You don't see any specters or anything floating around. Okay. Anything else that you all are, or you can think about it if you want, and we'll cut over to the guy, to Chauncey and Arkadiy, and then you can come back here. Arkadiy and Chauncey, last we saw you were climbing down these roots into certain death, and it is the climb is tricky, and it's not short either. It's not like a quick drop. It is a good 15 feet drop. I would say. You can all just give me an athletics spend, or if you want to risk it and just roll the die to fall down, that's as well. You could do that as well. So either athletics roll, or you could just buy it off with a 1 point athletics spend. It's up to you.
I will just buy it off with a 1 point athletics spend. Yeah.
Fair enough. Okay. Yeah, I would say the two of you are capable of doing it, Randy as well. And the first thing that really hits you, even before your feet hit the ground, is the smell, very mildewy. It smells like sour wine. I'm sure if you've ever smelt wine that's gone bad. It has this sour, vinegary kind of thing. And underneath it all is this kind of rot that you can certainly smell as well. It's overpowered somewhat by the wine. You can see, much like what's happening up in the pantry, the walls here are root-laced. You can see they're crisscrossing all over. And there's some old brick, you can tell, and some plaster. And you can see, crawling through some of the cracks in the brick are these roots that come out like veins kind of weaving through it. There is this sunken section of this large storage chamber And you can see that it's kind of dipping a little bit lower than the rest of it. And there's these stagnant puddles that are collecting here and there. There's splintered shelves. This is certainly like an old wine cellar, you would think, but you don't recall having entered this recently. There's all sorts of warped casks all over the place. A couple pillars, stone pillars that are helping keep the roof or the ceiling from collapsing. They are leaning inwardly at certain points, like they're older supports. There are some scattered chalk marks you can see on the walls and such, and some places on the floors, like there's these arcs and circles and such, and mold and growth here and there, broken slats and barrel lids scattered about. There's like a half collapsed crate at one point where there's like the straw and like shattered glass and such is spilt out all over the place. And then in the far corner, you can almost see something moving. And as your eyes adjust to relatively dark in here, by the way, a little bit of light coming down from above, but not much. You can see that there's like some kind of dark pulsing mass. What would you like to do?
I'll cover you.
Dear Chauncey, you're so kind, but let's keep eye on pulsing mass from here. Let's take a quick scan of cellar first, see if we can identify where whatever was dragged to before we go down deal with that. So using vigilance, can Arkadiy discern anything about what was brought down or where it was taken to?
You definitely, with that, would see the drag marks are certainly going to that pulsing mass in the far corner of the room.
Dear Chauncey, I think perhaps it's time for you to cover me. I'll go in and take a look and see what pulsing mass is.
Okay. You're going to make a stealth, essentially, test to get in there. You're all, not stealth, what do they call it? Skullduggery? I always forget. Or burglary.
There is stealth.
Stealth
as a general skill.
Yeah, roll a stealth test. I'm not going to tell you the difficulty, as it is going to be modified by a alertness modifier. But go ahead and roll.
Figures. I will spend 3 points of stealth on the roll.
Okay.
And get a 5.
Okay.
That's just terrible. Not as terrible as you can get, but close to terrible.
Yeah. Not a great roll. But as you approach this pulsing mass, you don't see it stir. And maybe at one point you accidentally like kick ever so slightly a tiny little chunk of wood, and no one else really hears it, but for Arkadiy, that's it's terrible. But when you get close, you notice it is what appears to be a enormous snake, absolutely gigantic. Not when I say that, I mean think anaconda, but bigger. And it's
like the big snake from the first Conan movie.
Exactly, it's very much that. And you see it's black with some patterns. It's so dark in here you can't probably tell, but you can tell there's some patterning to it. But it is coiled in the corner, and you can see that is certainly what's heaving and pulsing. And more than that, as you're this close, you notice that as the body of this snake is coiled up, there are what looks like 3 large mounds interspersed around its body here and there, as if it is fed recently.
Are those mounds perhaps moving at all?
There's definitely some movement, whether it's them, whatever
or just being
mounds
digested,
are moving, or it's just digesting. You're probably unsure, but yeah, you definitely see some movement. Yeah.
So Arkadiy will pull back to Chauncey and Randy. Dear cousin, good news, bad news. Good news, perhaps find wife. Bad news, in belly of giant snake. Maybe alive though, perhaps. Hard to say. Question. Do you want us to attempt to kill giant snake and see if wife is alive in belly of giant snake, or shall we, not do that?
Chauncey will actually hand the crossbow over to you for a second and clumsily start to try and undo the peace bonding on poor Aloysius' sword.
This is good time to rekindle experience with war.
Oh, no. We gotta cut open the belly and pull it out?
Well, yes, probably have to kill snake first. It probably will definitely resist having belly cut open. But if we sneak up real quiet, like perhaps catch drop on it and attack, maybe one of us live. Randy, you get up here too. You're part of family now. Time
Yeah, I
fight
got
giant
this.
snake. Yes,
And he's like stretching. He's stretching. He's doing the classic middle-aged man doing some stretching before he goes and plays in a pickup basketball game.
Oh, God.
Put his kneecaps on. He's putting his kneecaps on.
No.
Here you go. Let's get dirty. Let's do it.
Yes, you make me smile, Randy, on inside where it counts.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. A lot of women tell me that too. That's interesting. Never smile on the outside though. Well, it is.
They cry on the inside. I smile on the inside.
Yeah, that's probably it. Wait, no. Wait, is that okay. So, what do you guys want to do? How do you want to do this? It does not seem to have noticed you. Your stealth seemed to have been enough not to alert it.
I think we're gonna have to go up there and stick a couple swords into its head.
Maybe just like one shot from range
Well,
after you.
Randy, like one shot from catapult from range kill like normal size, like 3-5 foot snake perhaps. This snake like 25 feet long. I don't think probably just wake it up, piss it off.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, I was thinking we can get up there, kind of like suffocate it, get in like a big headlock or something.
Randy, I like to see you try this. This sounds like a great plan to me. Let me try to cut it for you.
Okay.
Okay, in we go.
All right. So, Arkadiy, you don't need a roll again, but Chauncey, if you're approaching, go ahead and roll a stealth test to get up there. Again, I'm not going to say a difficulty, but I think you can kind of deduce what it probably was.
I'm gonna put 3 into it.
Okay. Fair enough.
Get a 6.
Okay. The two of you get up. I'm going to roll for Randy. See how Randy's stealth goes. Let's take a look. Let's take a look. Okay. I'm going to say the two of you get there first before his one doesn't go very well.
As he's stretching, calling it out.
Stretching. As the two of you get up close, I will say because you're meleeing, I'm not going to increase the target. So I was going to say if you do range attacks, there is a chance that you would hit the mounds as opposed to the snake. But I'll say since you're up close, I'm gonna hand away the darkness in this case. But the two of you sneak up, and you're right next to it, and we're in combat. Which one of you goes first?
wow.
Arkadiy, he's got his twin swords out. He's just gonna try to bury them into like basically the eyes on either side of the snake's head. I mean, flavor wise.
Oh yeah, of course. I will say as you get close and you look for the eyes, you definitely see the very familiar fox-like head to one of these things. It doesn't have like the copperhead style of head. It's the head you've seen now multiple times. You look around, you don't see the Hydra body. This definitely seems like a snake, but it has that head to it for sure.
Arkadiy's just thinking to himself, so this is how Arkadiy Ruska dies. It'll be sad, very sad. People will cry in Busrek tonight. Orana will welcome me into her hall.
All right, go ahead and give us that roll as you come up.
I will
stab this thing.
I will spend 3 points of warfare.
Okay.
To see what I can do here. And remember, because I've got Sprott frailty of 2, so I bypass 2 points of armor if he hits.
Okay, good to know. Good to know. All right.
7.
All right. 7 is a hit, but not obviously a crit. I just want to double check. I'm trying to remember surprise in this game.
With my skullduggery, I get +1 to damage because I stealthed up. I don't know if there's anything else to it.
I can't remember if there's like a specific surprise
Sneak attack
rules
sort of.
that I'm forgetting. But yeah, go ahead and roll. Yeah, so you come up, you stab. Is very much aware now of you. That obviously will hit. Is not enough for a crit though. Go ahead and give me that damage. Stabbing into its head. Oh boy,
This looks cool.
it's a good roll.
So 9 in total.
9 is a phenomenal amount of damage. You
Wow.
stab in, and it's a good thing you do have some piercing, as you realize those scales aren't just there for show, and it takes a little bit extra strength to dig through it. But as soon as you stab into it, you see the head rail up, and you can see it sweeps down and begins to, more quickly than you would probably have given it credit for, considering its size, immediately begin to turn and getting ready to snap at you again. However, we're in combat, so it's popcorn initiative. So who's going next?
I'm gonna give it to Chauncey before the snake goes.
Okay. And you also have Randy. Don't forget who. Yeah.
Well, I think Randy should go last
That
because then
makes
he can
sense.
give it back to us.
yeah.
I'll just finish
I think
guys.
Chauncey's freaked out and he will just go all in on the first attack.
Attaboy. I like it.
I'm gonna spend 4 warfare.
Okay.
Big, go big.
That's
Oh.
as much as Chauncey can spend on warfare. That's all
Okay.
in.
Okay. I like
With
it.
The previously peacebound sword, his iconic item.
All right.
Wow. Good thing I
Wow.
spent 4. Does a 5 hit?
Rolled a
A 5
one.
will hit. A 5 will hit. Yes. A 5 does hit. Because you're up close, a 5 is going to hit. Yeah.
Oh
Nice.
my.
Nice.
Okay.
Oh,
And let me
yeah.
know your damage.
Well, fortunately, I know for sure I'll get at least a 4 on the dice.
Because
Yep,
the point
And
spend.
I'm going to double down on going all in. I remember one of the spends you can do for nobility
Mhm.
is to say that you've had what we'll have like a brief flashback to is Chauncey would never promote that he's done any practicing, but he has spent some time with the guy from the Caduccio family.
Mhm.
And it's not that he's by any means all that
Elite.
great, but he has practiced at least a little bit, like what stance to get into, how to drive your point home, just in case he ever did need to stab at somebody just the once to catch him off guard. I'll
You see
spend the
you and
nobility
Philippe
spend to
in
get
our
an extra
in the
D6.
flashback, dueling a little
Yeah.
bit, and him like shaking his head and like repositioning you a little bit here and there. It's just like,
Okay. Powers in the hips. It's all in the hips. It's all in the hips.
okay.
So I'll
What's
do
that
my
damage?
spend from that. So it'll be 2d6 plus 1.
Okay. How do we do?
It's being weird. Let me try that again.
It's
You know, just roll
thinking.
manually. You know, just roll manually if it's being slow.
I'll give it one more
Like
try.
2D.
2d6 plus 1.
Coming.
There they go.
Well, which
Okay.
one was the first roll?
I see a
I
7.
only see one.
I only see the one. So I see 7.
Oh, that one is a 4.
Okay. Okay, good. So that would be a total of 10.
9, 10.
Minus the armor, because it does
Minus
have
the
armor.
armor. But still, for
Okay.
Chauncey, that is the
Nice,
best
Very good.
he will ever do.
So you get like the image of Philippe in your head, you lunge down, and you realize your sword almost pins because of how strong the scales are, but you push just a little bit harder. The hips, the core, push it down, and you hear the thing almost like screech, this horrific screech. You want us to go next?
Yes. In fact, it'll go
Okay.
next, not because Chauncey wants it, but because Chauncey's screaming out, it's stuck! My sword is stuck, Arkadiy! How do you pull it out?
Okay. So it's going to go next then. All right. And it's still alive. You've definitely wounded it severely between the two of you, but it is still alive.
Nice shots.
So I'm going to go all out. This might be its only chance. So I'm going to go nuts with some malice spends here. Okay.
It's fair. Rude, but fair.
Fair.
Okay. So I'm going to tap into extra damage. Fearsome blow. I think I have enough of this. Okay. And its strength is already happening. Okay, so I'm going to tap into those. So I have enough to spend to get both of those. So I'm going to see who it attacks between the two of you. You're both close. 1 to 3, it'll be Chauncey. It is a 2, so it's going to be Chauncey. So Chauncey, its head, since you're the last one to attack it, Arkadiy's a little bit more agile, maybe dancing around a bit as he's finding another place to stab, and you're just kind of screaming out of it, staring at it kind of in a sort of a terrified way. Its head is going to open up wide, and you just hear the as its jaws begin to dislodge, and it's going to snap down at you. Right. Do a little bit of malice here.
Oh dear.
See if I can reunite you with your wife. Okay. Okay.
You said you wanted to find her, and the way to find her is through the belly.
9.
It's 9 to hit. He has 9 to hit.
Ooh. That's like a critical, isn't it?
Oh yeah, is that a critical? Yeah, it is.
And
Okay.
I don't think my dodge thing can prevent a crit. I can only try to dodge. I can't prevent a crit, can I?
No, I don't. Well,
Okay.
I think it's still a dodge. Like if you wanted to do your dodge roll, you could still try.
I can't
you can
roll
still
high
attempt.
enough.
Okay, then yeah, it's probably
If it's
best
a
to
9
save
to
the
hit, I
points.
can't roll high enough to dodge it.
Yeah, I think. Yeah,
I don't have
okay.
enough athletics left to make the spin.
Okay, this could be painful.
Oh,
Okay,
God.
so
Oh,
let's make sure I'm doing this right.
we were
Just make
joking,
sure I
but
get-
maybe you
We
will
felt
be
fine.
united.
Jeff's just gonna roll ones. You'll be okay.
Okay,
I don't
that's
think
one
so.
extra die.
I heard something about
That's another
devastating
extra
blow or
die.
something like that.
fearsome blow. So basically, it's
Okay.
going to be so terrifying. Hang on, so I got to perform a sway attack to potentially like do morale damage to you because it's like I have a second attack. It's a morale attack with this. That's what the fearsome blow is. It's essentially doing this.
Great.
Okay, so with its bonus die, with its bonus damage, I guess I could do venom too. Nah, it's all right. Let's not go crazy, right?
So many options.
All right. That is going to be 14 points of damage, Chauncey.
Live
As this
forever.
head smashes down over like at half. It's like the moment in Anaconda when John Voight finally gets his.
Oh,
When the-
no.
So 14 points of damage. I did just spend a lot of stuff, so if it makes you feel better.
Yeah.
It means it's less to spend next time.
That's
Do you
right.
have any armor that you can use to
No,
mitigate that?
I don't have armor.
What does that put you at health-wise?
So I have 8 health as my max. So
You are
I'm
minus-
deep in the negatives.
You are
God.
-6.
Oh, no.
So you need.
Oh, that's bad.
I'm sorry. It's like the only chance. He's got like no health left. He's gonna die. So I had to do this.
That's fair.
Okay. So you're at -6, which means you have to make an immediate health test to see if you stay conscious. Difficulty 4. Okay.
Okay.
But just think if she is in here and you did save her, how heroic you're going to be.
Yep. So let's roll.
Big damn
the-
hero.
Oh, the
gotta
health
get
thing is on there now,
inside.
so I can just click it. That's nice.
To cut your
Everything's
way
on
out.
there. Yeah, I figured out how to do it. I had it wrong before.
Look at that. Look at me rolling a
Okay.
3.
Unfortunately, you
Yep.
maybe it's a good thing, honestly, as you get half eaten as this mouth comes down onto you. And I think because of that, I'm not going to do the fearsome blow because I'm going to say you're unconscious. That's enough. I don't need to do the fearsome blow on top of that. Okay.
Oh dear.
I just want to make sure
Oh my.
one action before a sword attack is the same time as the warfare attack. Yeah, I was just seeing if I could do that to Arkadiy. I don't think I can. I think it's the same target. So, okay. So that is its turn, and Randy will go next. And he'll be like, Chauncey, what the? Get off him! And he's going to come running up. I don't think he has any weapons. So he's just going to come in swinging his fists wildly.
I love Randy.
God bless Piss Pot Randy. I mean, he's not Piss Pot
He's-
Randy anymore.
He's gonna be your next
boy.
character, right? So I mean,
your boy.
Honestly, I would play Randy.
I rolled a 4, so that's a hit.
What?
So that's a hit. He
Get him,
comes
Randy.
up.
Please.
He comes up. He's
Save
swinging
me.
away. He's just punching and punching. All right, I do 3 points of damage, which is not nothing. Not enough to kill it, but he's just like punching away. He's like punching like right at the eye, or he's like punching where some of the wounds are. You see blood splurting up. He's like kind of reaching his hand out in and just kind of pulling out like snake flesh and such, and just screaming, "Let go of my boy!" Arkadiy, I'm going to give it to you. Obviously, if you can finish this guy off, it's definitely wounded. You can tell it's very. So
did Randy go
blood spilling out?
Twice, or are we just passing it?
He's
You
just
get to
passing it.
choose who's
Okay.
going next, and so he's
Okay.
giving it to Arkadiy because Arkadiy's the
All
weapon
right,
here.
so I will spend 4 points of warfare this time as my blades come hacking back down into this thing's head. Get a 7 in total.
That is definitely a hit, not a crit, but you don't need a ton of damage to kill it. It's definitely, you can see it's moving slowly.
That is 11 points of damage in total.
Describe how you kill this thing without accidentally killing Chauncey or any of the mounts.
So I think it's kind of what he started to do the first time. He finally lines up the shot right and just goes right through one of the eyes into the thing's brain, and then he just twists and pulls out.
And you like stab that, and you pull that. Once you pull that, you see the head kind of shudder a bit. You hear the dislodging even more as the mouth gets wider, and like Chauncey just spills out, coated, like the top, his torso kind of coated in the saliva of this thing, and the head of the snake falls down and just smacks against the floor. And like Randy's like rushing over, he's like, "Chauncey, you all right?" Kind of smacking him on the side. "You okay, Chauncey?"
Pull Chauncey back while I try to cut open Snake and see if anyone else is alive.
And so Arkadiy begins cutting through. You can see Randy pulls Chauncey away and is trying to get him back to consciousness. And we're going to cut from there. Big damn heroes.
How many refresh tokens do we get from that before
Excellent
I forget?
point. 5.
Ooh.
5 total. Yeah.
Important
Okay.
question.
Split 'em.
Excellent question.
Sure.
3 and 2.
Yeah.
We come back. We're in this weird room without snakes, but with many paintings. What do the 3 of you do?
Well, it's really nice that we have healing and doctors in our little group. I don't have a reason. I just feel like I should say that.
That is a nice point. But you say your mom died, Valentina.
Vincent, do you know this story?
I'm sure you told it to me before, yes.
Okay, yes. I don't know why, but my mother was, married off to another family, even though she was the eldest daughter of the Manuelans in Fortuna's generation. And not a good husband. My father is a big asshole, as one would say. A big drinker, not a good guy. He went out drinking one night. My mother tried to stop him. He beat her to death and threw her in the canal, and then got himself killed at the pub. And then that's why Fortuna raised me.
Just very sad. I do not know why that decision was made. It was not a good match. It was very unsafe.
Yes, yes, I agree. Yes. I'm going to take the painting, but I'm going to keep the painting.
Let me see if there's magic's involved.
Sure, yes.
See if I can get a sense of if there's like a magic to it, if how she felt maybe would paint the picture, or if she's even
Okay. You would be able to tell, Vincent, as you are you doing like spirit sight? Is that kind of the idea? Or are you like just tapping into corruption and sort of seeing if there's... Okay. Definitely. Whoever painted these painted them with and infused the painting with some kind of sorcery. You would guess, Vincent, being a sorcerer yourself, being somebody who has spent the last several years in the last college with very well-trained sorcerers, that likely whoever did this had a sphere that likely was art. Like they were probably capable of manipulating and using art in some way. And I would say that would probably conclude that despite the fact that the painting that depicts all of you and many of your other current family members, despite it being, current and impossible for her mom to have painted it now, likely she painted it in such a way, infusing it with some sort of sorcery that allowed it to adapt and adjust on its own as necessary.
Seemed your mom was a powerful sorcerer.
Oh, really? I didn't know that. Rude. I see rude, Jeff. I saw that.
So she did paint this, but it now shows our visages?
All I can conduct about it, yes.
And Fortuna almost sort of reaches out towards the painting. Just, it's a connection to her long lost sister, kind of. So she's just sort of.
And Solavita feels strongly about this as well, just like Fortuna. And she's going to kind of like take the painting and try to like get it out of its frame so we could maybe roll it up and transport it with us. I don't think we should leave this behind. I am now going to do a thing. GM, is there any spend that I could use in this room, or are we kind of tapped out here?
In terms of core clues, you kind of got I would say you would know, no spend necessary, based something about this painting, the Hall of Thirst, the ritual. You're thinking that's what this is hinting at. What effectively has happened is you kind of like hopped over like a chain of the investigation. And so you have something that you might not necessarily know the full context for yet, but you know that something important, as looking at them, you know that you have to kind of vote for the next matriarch, and it kind of seems that that's what they're doing. And so wherever the vote is supposed to take place, it's this Hall of Thirst that is titled, that the painting is titled. So that's the big thing. There's no other, I would say, there's no other core clues in here that you would need to deduce.
Okay, I think we're good here. And looking down at the Hall of Thirst title, Fortuna, do you happen to feel a little thirsty? Just a question.
I am.
Maybe a little bit of blood?
Feet for quite some time. And Fortuna wanted to just getting a different perspective, and nothing may come of this, but there was a settee in the room, kind of in the middle of the room, that she kind of wanted to just go sit on.
Sure.
And just sort of look around the room from that angle. And so, again, if there's no spends on it, it's just a flavor she's kind of taking,
Okay. When you sit down on this thing, that trace, that's perfume in the air, intensifies a bit. And you see in one of the cushions next to you, it almost looks as though there is an indentation, as if somebody is sitting next to you.
Vincent, can I think there's someone here. I smell the perfume, and look next to me. There's weight on this cushion. Do you see?
There's certainly signs of it. And I'll see if I can tap in and get that sense.
When you kind of focus and try to look through what's in front of you into the spirit world, right? You can see that there is a specter sitting on the settee next to Fortuna. Older woman.
Grab onto Fortuna's hand and give her a vision of it too.
Okay. So Fortuna, you look to your left and you see your sister Valentina, the ghost of Valentina, sitting right next to you.
Niece, it is your mother. Valentina, can you see me?
Valentina, like her head sort of turns and she kind of looks at you. Her head is kind of tilting and kind of off to the side a bit. And she looks at you, her eyes kind of darting a little bit. Vincent, you're more familiar with the spirit world. Different things happen to different spirits, to ghosts. What usually happens is if they're not like protected by like the funerary statue, if it's broken, sometimes they get just basically pulled away and out of paradise. Other times they linger here. And sometimes those ghosts go mad, right? And others possess people. And so when you look at her, she certainly looks like somebody. She doesn't look like violent, but you can tell that she looks far away in some way. Like she looks a little bit unnerved. But there's recognition. Like as she kind of turns and looks with her face, and there's like a smile that comes across it, but it is kind of like a sad, resigned smile of somebody who maybe doesn't fully compute what's happening.
Vincent, does she see me?
certainly notices you, but it seems she's a bit gone.
And Fortuna does the thing that people do. Valentina, this is your daughter. She's all grown up.
It just kind of like rolls and looks in the direction that you're pointing, and you see this sort of smile comes to her face. Like, it's a smile, you can tell it's there, but it's like half recognition. It's like as if she's not fully computing.
Vincent, is there anything that we can do to help her?
If she's bound here, then something must be keeping her.
You would know. Yeah, go ahead. Sylvita probably knows.
If she's, I thought somebody would have made a statue for her. If she's here, where's her statue? What happened to it?
Could have been destroyed. Altavia's been going around making a wreck.
Yeah, you would know that your family keeps their funerary statues in two places. Some of them historically are in the necropolis, and others are in your hedge maze and on your estate. That's other places. So it's certainly possible that whatever befell the woman that you spoke with outside by the chapel, Vincent, could have happened to Valentina. She's still kind of here somehow.
Of course, niece, we've visited her statue often. We know where it is, and it should be just fine.
Yeah. Well, something's happened. I don't like this. Well.
Oh, okay. Help me up.
Yes, of course.
And she'll help you, pull you by the elbow up.
Thank you, niece. And Fortuna will sort of turn back to the settee. We will make this right, sister. We did not before, but we will this time.
Yes,
I just kind of moving about.
Thank you for the painting.
Her face smiles really bright as you compliment the painting at this point. Vincent, did you actually spend the points to bring them into so that they could see it? I know you said you took their hands. I think it's a point spend. It's up to you. Yeah, I think it is a spend.
Yeah, to share the vision, I'll spend to give them the vision.
So I would say the two of you then are able to see her. So it's not just like him having to describe it. The two of you can certainly see it. And Solovita, you would recognize your mother, obviously.
Yes.
You're fairly certain. I would say so. Yeah, I think Solovita and Fortuna, you would both know that her statue would be on the grounds, more than likely. I mean, Solovita, one of the things you mentioned in our session 0 was the statuary and going about to them. So I think it would make perfect sense for your moms to be here. So likely hers has suffered some kind of damage or whatever weirdness is going on with Castlear, and Althavira is somehow affecting the ghosts of your ancestors, something like that.
When there's more time, we can go check the statues and make sure they're repaired.
Yes, and Fortuna's face will sort of soften to Vincent a bit. She's sort of overcome seeing her sister. Thank you, cousin, for this vision and allowing us to see. I know that takes from you when you do that.
Shouldn't stay here too long. It's far worse than might appear.
Oh, you are right. Things are getting worse by the minute. We're good here. We can go through the door.
Yes. Yes. And yes, Vincent, thank you for showing her.
So you get up, push the door open. And Vincent, I'm going to refund you. I'm going to give you an investigative spend refresh because that was more narrative than it was clue reveal. And so I don't want to completely steal that from you in case it becomes more important later. So you push it open and you realize the door opens onto the second story landing of your mansion. And you look off to your right and you can see there is the house guard standing, looking down over top of the noble floor. Look back, door's still open. You still see it through there.
That's not supposed to be there.
Not even close.
Oh, But this is the way they came, so we should be able to follow where they went.
Yes, Chauncey and Arkadiy. Guard.
He kind of like, Mrs. Fortuna and Solavita, and he like kind of rushes over towards you. I've completely forgot how do I do my completely offensive Italian. How do I do that again? Like a babbity boopy, a boopity beepy, and like, oh, Mr. Fortuna. Yeah, I got to do the hands like somewhere. My mom is very mad at me right now. Miss Fortuna, Miss Solavita. So blessing to see you.
Yes. Where did they go? Arkadiy and Chauncey.
We sent Arkadiy and Chauncey in front of us.
The two of them in Master Randy, they have gone to the kitchen. Miss Valentina is missing, along with the servants. Yes. They sent Mr. Juliana Bonaventure and some of the others to look for the missing. There are many people missing. Many people have not returned.
Oh, and Fortuna for a second is confused by the Valentina because and it takes a second for her to get the gears moving again. Yeah, okay. Thank you for that information. We will go find Arkadiy and Chauncey. Thank you. Continue.
Of course.
So, do you guys rush off to the kitchen?
Well, yes, I'm tempted to kidnap Politier, but because we're kind of close to him in theory, but who knows where that room is.
Wait, that was the other place to go. We know where they are, and I think perhaps like to try to keep us together if we can.
That's a fair point.
You know, to keep faith in us, we're fine. You should totally go straight there.
Chelsea wasn't nearly eaten. It's totally fine.
All right,
Fortuna's thinking that if we're going to have all of these doors that come up out of nowhere, we should be all together when we do it.
We're gonna need
as one group then.
Yes, Vincent?
I was just saying we're gonna need them.
We are going to need them. Absolutely.
Okay. I will say for the sake of getting you together, you three see the same thing in the kitchen, you find the same tracks, you find the same routes, you climb down, and you just in time to see, like, here's Randy pulling the snake saliva soaked Chauncey body towards you, kind of like dropping it there, like, oh, well, that dad bod put on a few pounds. Okay, gotta get him a regiment. And we see Arkadiy. As you come down, you see this, and then you see Arkadiy carving through the flesh of this massive snake, and that's what you see when you arrive.
And Fortuna just gasps, "Oh my word! What's going on here?"
Oh, dear cousin, it's good to see you again. No, nothing. Just a little bit pest control, trying to see perhaps if Valentina is alive in Snake's belly or just a crushed up bag of bones and flesh.
Oh, alive. She must still be alive. That would break Chauncey's heart.
Well, I would think probably less than 10% chance she's alive, but we can be hopeful.
Let's us and Fortuna will come over and kind of do bind wounds things with Chauncey.
Oh, it's I can do it really well if you'd like as well.
Oh,
I was going to do 1 Leechcraft for 6 healing, immediate healing.
That's right, because you've got the combat with Leechcraft. Go for it.
You come over. You see just like Randy's kind of slapping him here and there. Come on, wake up. Come on, rub it up. Rub some dirt on it. What's wrong with you? Come on. And then you come over. He's like, well, hey, Solavita. How's it going? Yeah, so like me and like Arkadiy, like we killed this big old snake over here.
Oh, really? That's amazing, Randy. I didn't know you had it in you. That's very impressive.
Yeah, you know, it's just when I see my boy in danger, I just kind of, it's just like a different person, It's just like I can't
totally get it.
His hands would be covered in gore too, because you showed them.
And he's been slapping your face. So he's just like
no.
Yes.
Oh no.
Yeah, I killed him with my bare hands. Arkadiy, he stabbed him too. I don't want to take all the credit, but team
of
effort
course.
for sure.
I can definitely see you've done a lot of work, and look at all this gore around you. Clearly, you did a lot of damage.
Yeah. I was gonna do that. I heard that the mouth to mouth thing, but he's got a bunch of like snake juice on him. I don't want that. But
okay, well, let me deal with this. And I'll lean in a little bit.
Fortuna still doesn't have a husband, you know.
You kind of looks around you at Fortuna. And
There is
Fortuna,
a
you're in your
chance.
60s. You're in your 60s, right? You're like twice his age, right? Late
Yes.
50s, you're in your 50s, maybe?
No, I think by this time I'm mid 60s.
You might be in your 60s. You're twice his age. So he's because right? Isn't that where, because he's the same age as Chauncey. And
Yeah,
Chauncey's
he's the same
in
age
his,
as Chauncey.
Yeah.
So he's kind of looking over. Yeah. Okay.
Can I help you, Mr. Pot?
What's it? Yes, ma'am. Just saved Chauncey here. Everything's fine. I think some folks got eaten though. Arkadiy's covering it up though. Well, we'll see if there's anyone alive inside. Just all a day's work, you know.
It's a thank you, cousin Pot. Thank you very, very much for always having Chauncey's back.
Yeah, no problem. Okay. Yeah.
Okay. So you've healed Chauncey. Chauncey, you come back to life. Poof, consciousness pops. You see, there is Solavita. You're covered in just snake guts. Fortuna's there. Vincent's there. Randy's there. Arkadiy is carving into this snake. And you're seeing like bodies beginning, Arkadiy, to just like fall out from where you're carving away. The first one that drops out, you can tell is the cook. You can tell this is one of the family cooks, and you can see that they've like their body as it falls out is very much dead. You're pretty sure that they were dead going in, as there's so many broken bones. They're probably constricted. So that's the first one that falls out.
Cook
Chauncey,
definitely dead. He pushes the body away.
And you start carving to the next one. Chauncey, one of these next two could be Valentina. How much do you love your wife?
Enough to spend ridiculous luck.
You know where I'm going. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
Go ahead and make that spin.
I will.
Arkadiy, as you go and slice the other one, you see a hand reach out, like in fingers. And you can see like they look to have been well manicured at one point, but clearly they've been like scraped and like they've been then pulled away. And you see some rings and it's definitely not a servant. It looks more like a noble, but the hand is like reaching out and you pull them free and you see flopping out in front of you is Valentina, Chauncey's wife.
Dear sweet Valentina, so good to see you. I hope you're staying this. Oh, yes. Dear Chauncey came to save you. He tried to jump down Snake's throat to pull you out. Very heroic, man.
I stabbed it with my sword.
Yeah, you did. And Randy will get down and kind of like get his arm underneath it. Come on, big boy. Come on, go say hi to your wife. Come on. And he's just going to like flop you down. And we see like Chauncey covered in snake guts. We see Valentina covered in snake guts, and they're right next to each other. This beautiful little, like, disgusting, horrific something.
I'm so bad. I hate your family. I hate your family.
She kept seeing.
Arkadiy leans down and whispers, I truly hate Manlowans as well. Terrible family. I can't believe I'm still stuck in this horrible city.
Thank you, Arkadiy. And shockingly, somehow, she is alive. No major injuries, abrasions, bruises, that kind of stuff. No major injuries due to your luck spend. However, you can tell that the housekeeper that falls out afterwards is not as lucky as they are, and they definitely look to be in very, very terrible state. So, you guys are down in here. You're looking around again. Another thing, this doesn't really seem to lead anywhere in particular, but I will tell you this: you do notice that there are a series of casks of like that are kind of warped and intact. Most everything down here is like kind of fractured and broken, but there are a few that are intact. And the other thing of interest you would probably see, and this is probably especially true for Solavita as she comes down here, is you can see like the stone pillars themselves, which are looking like they're bowing, like they're gonna collapse over time. You can see that they have like etchings and such and like stamps in them of some kind. Like you can see a stamp on it. But those are the other things I would say that would probably draw your attention as you're down here if you wanted to peek at, if anyone wanted to peek at those.
Oh, Vincent, I'm not sure if it's magical or not, but the sort of the bowing struts over there, they look like they've got carvings on them. Maybe we go take a look.
And Arkadiy will pop up in one of the casks.
And Arkadiy, you find inside, it smells, compared to everything else around here, this actually smells relatively decent. And you would think that of this entire wine cellar, this is likely the only surviving and still quality liquid. Give it a whiff, and you give it maybe a little bit of taste. It's kind of like a fortified wine. It's like a Marsala, basically. Some kind of like some kind of ancient vintage. It's sort of like a sherry in a way, if you want to think about it in those terms. So kind of like a lot of sugar,
tawny port.
Yeah. And taking a little sip of it, you definitely feel a little kick just from it, to the point where if you drink a little bit of it, there might be a little benefit to doing so.
Arkadiy definitely drinks a little bit of it because he's had a hard day.
Okay. You will get 3 general ability refresh.
Wow. Does Arkadiy tell
back in warfare?
Does Arkadiy tell
No.
anybody else that he feels good after drinking the
He's just like,
feel-good juice?
He's like,
Dunks his head
just
in.
taps the cask back close. He's like, keep this in my private reserve. He's like, oh, dear cousins, each take a glass and drink a toast to our continued survival in this hellscape that we call a family. And he points everybody over to the casks. It will make you feel much better. Trust.
Okay, well, just be careful because these don't look very stable and I'm not sure how long before collapse.
Fortuna will take a drink and
Cheers.
sort of look to Solovita, to your mother.
To my Valentina. By the way, Valentina, your mom, my mom and you share a name. It's sometimes confusing.
It's very nice.
Here, have a drink, Valentina.
It's a very nice name. Yes, actually. Arkadiy, can I get second glass for Valentina? Drink this while I take your... breathe deeply and let me hear.
If anyone has morale damage, by the way, which I don't think Arkadiy did, you also can heal 3 morale points by drinking some of this Marsala wine.
I think Vincent never got a heal on his morale.
Darling,
so?
he's just spoiling our children rotten when we get out of here.
They're never coming over here again.
Oh, Vincent, you're at like 3 morale.
Yeah,
That's my
Well,
default, though.
Yeah, he doesn't have much.
Oh.
He made a choice. Okay.
Oh.
Vincent, Solovita, you said you were looking at these pillars. Solovita, you've got your Guild of Architects in your knowledge. You remember looking at some of the loose plans that Chauncey had, and you remember seeing some of these pillars, some of these images, some of these things kind of popped up. It's some kind of support structure. And you remember there's like that big gap in the middle called the sacral void, and around it were all these different structures that were kind of keeping it intact. As far as you would probably conclude, actually, give me a point spend actually for this one. This was probably a little bit more to learn.
No problem. Would you like city secrets might be good here, or I can do skullduggery for sneakiness, or I can do forgotten lore.
You can spend a point from your Guild of Architects if you want. If you still have one of those. I think that would be
I've
fine.
still got
Because those
2 of
others
those.
might be more applicable later in the adventure. This one is probably a little bit more suited. Okay. You looked at the plans by someone by the name Orsyth Mainwall, and you assume it's one of your ancestors. And they built some kind of large void, and it was something about a containment, or something to contain great power, to sort of channel a power source through. And there are always various struts and such. What you would be able to deduce, Solovita, is that if these in fact are these like support struts that have been built around it, that are both based on architecture but based on sorcery, they seem to be extremely overstressed, which means that whatever power source is inside of the void is potentially threatening to explode out of it, like literally fracture through. So whatever is inside that void, it's on the verge of coming out. Like, and you would be very alarmed by the state of this.
Oh dear. Vincent, maybe you can sense this better than me because you're stronger in sorcery. You see these symbols here. This is for the sacral void, and these struts here are for a sort of a secured power sort of source to keep them insulated and channeled into the right area. And they're very bound, and they're very prepped to explode, everybody. We need to do something very quickly, by the way.
Explode. Are we in danger?
So if you can in any way sense a large power source somewhere below us and help, I don't think I have that ability.
That's something you can do, cousin.
Vincent, if you're looking at these pillars as she's pointing to them, you would recognize the markings that are engraved into these pillars. You spent 12 years inside of the old summer palace in the lower levels where sorcerers were kept prisoner, where various unexplained tools of the architectural and sorcery trade married together to create chambers to keep people of your ilk somehow contained. And these are the types of images and sigils that you saw engraved on some of the cells that kept you from being able to fully harness and channel your sorcerer's power and keep you and the other very powerful sorcerers at bay. More than that, though, Vincent, you would know that it's in greater abundance and the size is enormous. You're a sorcerer and you're a powerful one. And really just one of these would have been enough to kind of keep you at bay and many of the other powerful sorcerers. The size of this, what Chauncey has collected, the various images that you're seeing, whoever designed this and whatever is like trapped within that void is of a power that's beyond you, beyond Solavita, beyond like which you can fully comprehend.
You've seen these gates all over the place, right?
Well, yes.
This castle folk fellow, he's trying to break these binds. Something here beyond our imagination. It's about to break free.
Perhaps they trapped goddess Borda down there, and that is why the Nari take precedence in your decrepit, sinking city.
Well, I think we're for Borda, so I don't think we trapped Borda. I think we trapped an enemy of Borda that might be more powerful than we're ready to deal with. That's my theory.
Cousins, you say we must hurry. Hurry. Where do we need to go?
Let's find out the Vera.
Or Pelletier might be able to. He made comments at us. Let's go kidnap Pelletier.
The symbol in the symbol in the library.
Yes.
So as all of you get up, move across the cast, take a last little sip of Marsala, climb up the roots. Right as you climb into the kitchen, you hear once more the sounds of the chime of the chapel go off. And that's where we're going to go ahead and end for tonight, and we'll pick up right on that next time.
Oh, I
Chauncey,
missed
good
this
job.
last week.
You're a hero, man.
I'm super worried that every time we're hearing that chime is another strut going.
Yeah,
Oh
I
yeah,
think
we're
so.
totally screwed. But hey,
yeah.
we got to kill a giant snake.
That was
Yeah, we
good.
killed a
giant
that always
snake.
makes me
That
happy.
was pretty
Kills
cool.
all
Always
snake.
makes me happy.
Chauncey, I
I
gave
did
you 6.
so much damage. I got so nervous when I saw my dice. I'm like,
6 health
holy
back to
crap,
you
that's a
more.
lot of damage.
Okay.
Oh,
Wow.
goodness.
You gave me 6. I think
Okay.
that gets me back up to 0.
Oh,
I'm so
okay.
excited.
I'll give you. I'm going to bind wounds. I'll give you another 6, so you'll have 12 in total.
I'm
And if
almost
you're
back
running
to
out-
full.
I can also do more again. How much
Yeah.
more do you need?
2. Yeah,
Okay.
I am totally. Since I unbound the peacebound sword, I will just to flavor it for if Chauncey survives to the next arc, I'm going to take he got like a very cool, like what the classic like scar that you see in a movie where it just goes down here, somehow
Mhm.
doesn't actually puncture the eye.
Right, but down the face.
Yeah.
Very nice. Very nice.
Oh.
Okay. Well, there's that. We'll pick up next week. Lots
Yes.
of fun little discoveries tonight. And we'll see how it goes. Let's do some closing plugs. I'm going to throw it over to Aaron. What do you got going on over at the Garblag Games channel?
So next week, you should be able to catch Richard running some Star Trek Adventures 2nd Edition Lower Decks as he continues their fun romp and boldly going wherever they're taking their California class starship. Then the following week, we will be back with Metro Otherscape.
Awesome. Fan-freaking-tastic. Okay. As for us, let's talk first about our good friend, Steven, who has made a wonderful game called Huckleberry. It is a cinematic action, Western horror, all sorts of wonderful goodies. It's super fun to play. You should check it out at huckleberryrpg.com. Hop into our Discord where the Lollygaggers hang out. There's a whole separate section for it for Huckleberry. You can ask all sorts of wonderful questions. And it will be coming to crowdfunding later this year if you want to get a nice big physical copy yourself. And he was telling me, I can't share it. I don't think I'm allowed to share it. Telling me some of the goodies that are going to be in that Kickstarter today. So I should probably read those messages slightly more closely than I did earlier today. Okay, and then for us, next streams tomorrow night, we're going to see Aaron and myself. We're going to switch seats. Aaron's going to be running us through some more Dragonbane. Sunday, we've got Call of Cthulhu, where we are in Ethiopia getting attacked by hyenas and hyena-like creatures. And then Monday, we are back. We've taken about a month off or so, but we are back. We're playing more Gumshoe System as we're going to be jumping into some Time Watch. We're going to be doing our session 0. We're going to be building some characters, drawing some connections. So come see the weirdness as we kind of lay the seeds for that. If you guys haven't noticed, our session 0, I've taken a lot of what we talked about in session 0 and just sort of fed it into like what we're doing.
Yeah,
so
totally.
I think some of that's going to happen in Time Watch. We'll see how it goes.
Nice.
And then Tuesday, the finale, I think, right, of Perils and Princesses. Isn't that right, Kipser?
I will be absolutely shocked if you manage to do another session after Tuesday.
I mean,
I believe
bicker.
you can complete.
I could bicker for a real long time if we want to. Yeah. Okay. So awesome. Fantastic. We're saving indoor dining. One or two. It'll be great. Let's go ahead and raid someone. We're going to raid Insomnia Night RPG. So go ahead and follow that raid. Have a great rest of your night. We'll see y'all later. Bye-bye.
Good night.
Arrivederci.